Sorry, guys. Give me one moment. Hello, this is Cambria Redmond. I am presenting on the male construction worker. This is a topic very close to home with me because I am a daughter of a construction worker myself. He has been a construction worker from the age of 16 years old. He decided to quit school in high school and just go straight to the workforce. Something typical of many men of that era. So let's get right into it. Let's look at the statistics of U.S. construction. It accounts for a high percentage of our workforce. Physical labor of construction accounts for roughly 16% of American employment. So that's quite a bit. And looking at the demographics, we see that it is a very male-dominated culture, with 91% being attributed to the males. The highest being white males, and second to that, Latino males. And we'll discuss the issues of migrant workers briefly as well. Health and safety statistics are also very jarring when looking at them. There's a lot of death that happens in this high fatal industry. 14 deaths per day account from construction, so that's a pretty big death toll from just going to work. 38% of falls result in death on a construction site, being struck by an object, 9.4%, electrocutions, 8.3%, and another fun statistic, caught in between, which is termed by being squished from machinery. So yeah, 7.3% of death as a result of being squished in machinery as a result of work in construction. So there's a lot of contributing factors as to why these statistics are so high when regarding death and fatality. It's a very fatal industry and a very volatile way of life. Hegemonic masculinity is a very big thing in this industry, as 91% of the workforce is male. Some toxic masculinity will rear its head eventually. Risk-taking and physical prowess is very high and may contribute to the fatal statistics that we had just seen. Horseplay and pranking also occurs very highly on the job site, as it is highly intertwined with the masculine guise of this male. Alcohol consumption is a big role to play with health as well. And getting the job done attitude or stoicism, the feeling of responsibility for finishing a job, translates into a lot of compounding issues. The idea of work gangs. The idea of work gangs, it's a weird term I kept coming across through every scholarly journal that I read upon construction. It's just the term regarding the different crews that frequent the job site. They run in packs, stonemasons, electricians, day laborers, roofers. They all kind of work with one other company or another and run together. But there is a ploy to combine the gangs, the act of girl watching. And despite what popular television and media likes to display to you, covertness is a very important aspect. The whole point of girl watching is to encourage social integration, so to provide some sort of community for the gangs. I couldn't really get a first-hand experience on this, as I am the daughter of the construction worker that I viewed their site, so I really wasn't willing to interview them on that subject matter. But I did come across the article, Real Men Are Tough, written by David Iacone. He went undercover as a laborer, and he's a social anthropologist, and he wanted to study the gender socialization upon a work construction site, and he found himself eventually even taking part in some of this girl watching, saying that even he himself succumbed to it as a result of socialization, as that's kind of the only means to find joy in the day or pass time, I guess you would say. Is that positive or negative? I mean, I'm not one to say, but if covertness is the idea, then who's being hurt from that? Anyhow, construction work on the home front. This poses a lot of issues. The work structure of the construction worker is a very weird one. It's based on the boom bust structure, so there's a lot of work all at once, a lot of jobs getting done and completed all at once, and then there can be bouts of unemployment, and it can wreak havoc on the internal structure and even the psyche of the man participating, as that is a big part of his self-identity. The breadwinner, the stoicism, getting the job done, paying the bills, getting that job done is a very important aspect. They took first-hand accounts from many of the workers, and a lot of the issues regarded their spouses not understanding, wondering if they got laid off because they had drinking too much, or done something too violent, or got in trouble with one of the bosses. So that's a big issue among families, is that those bouts of unemployment that can make the man feel depressed, as he is not living by his highest values at that current time. As all of the fatality statistics I have listed, this occupational health and safety is a very, very trying issue in this field, something that needs to be looked into, and OSHA has been doing its research, as well as other institutions, but the overall environment in which the construction industry operates kind of produces this production over anything. The man who terms himself as invincible and strong and who can take any task ends up hurting himself or something in order to get the job done. This can be reinforced through contractors who are making sure that their laborers are working at a fast enough pace while not overseeing the safety conditions as well as they should have. This is a big issue across all of America, especially with regard to migrant workers. They're not allowed as many of the rights that unions allow them, or such things like that. Language barriers, low literacy, all of these can contribute to systemic oppression or abuse from specific contractors or companies, where they use these fears in order to make them work harder and put themselves at risk. And once risk has occurred and fatality or injury has ensued, they are not really as liable as they would be with the citizen worker. There was a case of this, a very off-the-cuff case, but I did hear this firsthand upon my interviews because it had just recently happened, so it shook this gang quite a bit. One of their fellow workers had fallen off of a scaffolding and fractured his spinal column, was incapacitated. And of course, he got workers' comp. But then coming back to understand that he was using a false social security number, he was allowed no rights and no compensation for his injury, as well as retribution by the state. So these are real issues. We need to protect people regardless of their citizenship. This is a new initiative regarding unemployment, as this is a occupational hazard when it regards construction. This is going to happen regardless of what company you work for, no matter how good they are. There will be bouts of unemployment or low activity. So in order to combat this, colleagues have come together to create this virtual network, which provides health and safety information, outreaches, as well as even nutritional information. It was kind of a really cool initiative, and it reminds me a lot of a lifestyle medicine program or a lifestyle coaching program where they help find their needs and find their goals and help them succeed in them. So that was a really cool initiative. There's also all of these other resources that I found for people that are working currently in the construction industry, as this is a very trying industry. Masculinity is going to be a pervading issue in this. Here are my citations. Production and using their bodies as a tool, an instrument, is, you can't escape it from construction work. But what we can instill is proper management and institutionalized structures that protect our workers and enforce their rights and promote healthy behaviors among all men. Thank you.